Welcome to Beyond the Mission Doors, the official podcast of the Erie City Mission, brought to you by Money Radio WPSE. Every month we will sit down with people, partners, stories shaping our community, from the staff working on the front lines to the residents rebuilding their lives to the specialists and organizations making our mission of restoring hope and transforming lives possible. On today's episode, we talk to Rob O'Connell about veterans and about outreach today. Rob is a military veteran and has done a great job of leading our outreach team. I'm your host, Brian Johansson, CEO of the Erie City Mission, and without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so as we jump into this, Rob, so why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Rob O'Connell. I'm the outreach coordinator for the Erie City Mission, and my key role for outreach is to visit the encampments that we have around Erie, in the woods, along the railroad tracks, behind some of the local businesses, the panhandlers on the side of the street. We have teams that go out and we try to encourage them to come into our shelter where they can be surrounded with resources.
So you yourself are a veteran, as I mentioned in my opening. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yes, sir, I am. I joined the Navy at 17. I spent 14 years in the Navy, had a very diverse career, starting out on fast attack submarines, went through the fleet a little bit, and then decided that the job for me was to be a deep sea diver. So I went through that training and became a Navy diver.
And that's a pretty exclusive group of guys, isn't it?
It is, and we're aware of that. Very arduous training, probably the most difficult thing I went through physically and mentally in my entire life. Graduating classes will start out with 20 to 25 guys, and it's usually around 8 or 10 who will graduate.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service.
It was an honor.
So as you do your work doing the outreach, have you come across any veterans as you're out there in the outreach?
We do. We occasionally come across veterans, and obviously my heart immediately goes out to them. I have the deepest respect for all who served our country. These men, at whatever point in their lives that they decided to do this, they willingly gave up their freedom so that we could retain ours, and I have the utmost respect for them.
So the data from our city point-in-time count says that there were about 450 homeless in the Erie County area, and of those, about 42 were veterans, either heads of household or veterans who were on the street. What do you think some of the barriers are for homeless vets? Like, what's going on there?
Well, there's multiple reasons and causes. I would say primarily the biggest issue that I've come across is guys who are dealing with PTSDs, guys who have seen combat. They don't want to be a part of society. They have the feeling that nobody understands what they've been through and what they've seen. So they're, by that nature, isolating themselves purposely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here at the Mission, we've calculated that about 25% of our residents are veterans, whether both men or women. We've had some women veterans as well. It's nice to see them coming in and getting help with some of their issues, but it is complex. That's kind of the word I would use.
Yes.
There's a lot of issues going on there, and often there's mental health, which is PTSD, and then you have combine that with some kind of addiction.
Yes.
As they're trying to deal with the PTSD, and it puts you in a bad situation, which is tragic. I mean, these are men and women that have served our country, and yet they seem almost cast aside in our society.
Right. Yes, they do. The drug addiction, the alcoholism, to numb the memories, to hopefully make them go away at times. But yes, that sense of isolation in them is, again, I refer to, they feel the rest of society has no idea what they've witnessed, what they've seen, and can't relate to them. Therefore, they feel alone.
Yeah, and that loneliness can lead to a lot more things, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Living in an encampment, like you go out and you actually reach out to these encampments. I mean, I saw the data the other day, and already in the first 7 months of this fiscal year, the team is going out 400 times to visit encampments. I think they're going out 6-7 days a week now, right?
We go out 5 days a week.
And that's with volunteers and,
The majority of them are volunteers, myself and one other employee lead teams, and the rest of our teams are all volunteers. We have members of the team that come in twice a week, every week, and give 10 to 15 hours of their time. They'll text and they'll call me in the evenings, on the weekends, with concerns of, hey, can we do this? Can we do this to help them? Can we get them this? They have such a heart for this, and it's such a gift for us to have them serving with us.
so what's it like to get in the van with your team and go and drive to one of these encampments? And they're out of the way. And I heard you say there was almost 26 encampments that are consistently visited by your team.
Yes, and that number grows as the temperature begins to warm up.
And it's hard to believe because people drive down 12th Street, 26th Street, Peach Street, and they don't realize that maybe 1,000 feet to their left or right could be one of these encampments.
Sure, yes.
And that's people don't realize that that's going on. And I would say the data shows that you have roughly 97, 95, 100 different individuals that you're engaging regularly.
We do, and one of the things that I love about what we're doing and with the outreach is that these aren't just people that we encounter one time and say, hey, come into the shelter, and they say no. We'll say, okay, well, here's a sandwich, and we leave them. We become friends with these people, and I think that's critical, and I think it's important for the mission that we're about, as far as either bringing them into the shelter, sharing the gospel with them, hoping for them to know and realize how important they are to God and how much they matter to Him. And they know that because we don't stop coming back.
Yeah.
We continue to be in their lives, whether they want us there or not. But they all do. They all love us. They become family and friends to us. We have their cell phone numbers. We call them and speak to them outside of hours. They'll call us with their needs and concerns.
Can you describe to the people that are listening what these encampments are like, and particularly in the winter? Like, I mean, I just think, it's Erie is not known for its mild winters, and so you have these folks that are living in these encampments in the winter. Tell me what that's like.
It's heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching, and there's not a day of our winter that goes by that when I walk out of my house in the morning to come to work that I don't immediately start thinking of all of them as I walk out of my warm, comfortable home and I'm cold walking to my vehicle. Every single day of our winter, my thought is, I know so-and-so's been out there all night. I know so-and-so's been out there for a month. I know so-and-so's been out there in all of this. And at times the snow is so severe that I just know that their tents have collapsed on top of them in the night. And when I go to visit them, sure enough, they're digging themselves back out again.
So if I look at the data again, and I keep coming back to numbers, but I think when I saw the numbers from last year, when we first started doing this, you engaged about 96 people. And of those, 10 accepted an invitation to get in the van and come back and get help. So there's a lot of information in that statement. So tell me why only 10 people? You're building relationships with them. You're consistently going out there. 1 in 10 are accepting that invitation. What's going on there?
Two primary things: mental health illness and drug addiction. To come into a shelter, they automatically know that they have to behave. Addiction gets to a point that it's not a choice. I personally know that you don't just wake up one day and decide, I don't want to be an addict anymore. So coming into a shelter, this is the only way they're struggling to get through this life is by their addiction. They don't know any other way. They've lost hope that there is another way. And so they know that they won't be able to satisfy that need while they're in a shelter. And then the mental health plays into it, right, too.
So I have, as the CEO, given the team directions, and you know that I am not about enabling anyone to continue living in a tragic situation. So there are some of my counterparts in the community who see their choice of living in a community like the encampments as their right. Whereas I look at it as, here's a struggling person, and I'm not going to make this any more comfortable for you. I'm going to provide for you rather an instant solution. So and the mission's unique in that it can offer not a waiting list, not a referral number, not a phone number to call. If you get in that van with our team, we can get you a bed, a meal, a hot shower, a program to help you deal with your addiction. We can help you get your GED. We can help you with job training. The problem is getting them to commit to that. Yes. So there's this fine line of I don't want to enable somebody into just continuing living a tragic life. You've been given instructions by me and your team to say our job is to build relationships and rescue people. It's not about enabling them to continue living in that community. I mean, what do you think about that?
I love that policy. I'm so grateful for you in initiating that. Again, with building the relationships with these folks, many times the ones that we do rescue, that's what has brought them in. We didn't encounter them for the first time and say, come stay in our shelter. And they're like, okay, great, bring me there. But after months of knowing that we care about them, that they're important to us, that we're friends with them, then they start asking the questions, will you be there every day?
Yeah.
Will I see you every day? And when we assure them that, yes, that's the case, then they come in.
So would you see your consistent efforts with these individuals as building trust with them?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because, and it's in a dysfunctional way, that homeless encampment, let's say there's 10 people living in that encampment, that becomes in essence their quasi-family, their community, right? So they belong there, however dysfunctional that is. And leaving that, there might be some fear, although we living in our nice homes with our warm beds don't understand that. For them, I think a lot of them are, this is my community, this is my safety net.
Yes.
How dysfunctional is that? But our job is to give them another option. And then trust becomes a big issue, and that takes time to build.
Absolutely. And I believe that's vital, and it's, I mean, I've thought about it often, and I know that the desire would be for us to be able to go out and bring them all in, and we know the resources that we have available to them, and we know that they can live a better life, and we can help them to do that. But they need, as you say, they need to be able to trust us. I mean, society has cast them off, and they know that. They're aware of that. Yeah. They know the looks that they get. They know the remarks that they get. And as you said, their own community is the only community that they know and trust. As they build trust with us, I know that they see the love of God through us, and it draws them.
Yeah.
It's vital.
Yeah. Do you have a story for us of someone that you encountered in the encampment who you have rescued, you and your team, and they are doing good right now?
I have a few of them, but one couple in particular, their history was they had both become homeless separately, and then they got together as a couple. And we're living out in the woods, living in a tent, and the team and I would go out and again begin building relationship with them, got to know them. They expected to see us. They expected us to be there. And we had the opportunity one day, which I wait for every time we're out, to sit down and share the gospel with them. I got to share with them how Jesus, coming to know Jesus and trust and believe in him, transformed and changed my life, my addictive lifestyle, my alcoholic lifestyle. And I got that opportunity to share with them, and the team was there, and they began sharing with them. And this couple prayed with us and accepted salvation through Jesus Christ. Within a month, they were no longer in the encampment. They had been housed into an apartment. Both became employed and read their Bible daily to each other, prayed with each other, and they are still doing great. Every time I hear about them, they're making another step up and a move up in their lives.
Well, thank God for that.
Absolutely.
But for every great story, there are a couple of tragedies. And I remember you telling me a story about the one young girl who OD'd in that one encampment, and you had gone and reached out to her. She kind of turned you down, was grateful, but I'm not ready. And the next time you went to that encampment, there was an ambulance parked out in the woods there taking a body away, and it was
Yes.
her body.
Yes, it was.
I mean, that's sobering, right? For this, so this work you're doing is life or death.
It absolutely is. There's been more than one case where we have rescued individuals that I'm certain that if God hadn't led us to them to rescue them, that they wouldn't have lasted another 24 hours on this earth. Yeah.
So, Rob, we are asking every participant in this podcast if you had a favorite Bible verse you'd like to share and kind of what that means to you.
I do. The Lord speaks to the nation of Israel as they're going through a time of they've fallen away from Him and they're suffering the results of it. And He's professing His never-ending love and concern for His people. And He makes the statement to Israel, I will restore the years that the locust ate. And that is so personal in my life because of the devastation that I wrought upon myself in my own life and all of my relationships in life through my drug addiction and my alcoholism. And His promise to restore the years that the locusts ate, he has done that miraculously in my life with all the restored relationships between myself and my children, the years that I've wasted, just in every way in my life. He's given me a life that I could have never imagined or dreamt up since then. And I love that promise and knowing that promise isn't just for me personally, it's for all of His children who will accept it, that He can restore all the devastation in their lives.
Amen. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap this up, I mean, is there anything you'd want to say to our listeners about the outreach or veterans?
So just covet your prayers. We are absolutely what's referred to as being on the front line of the enemy territory. He's got these individuals. They're his. He's not even concerned anymore. And we're going in there, shining the light and the love of God into their lives and begging them to be rescued by God. And the enemy is not pleased with that, and he does attack us. He attacks us personally, he attacks us as a team, he attacks us in all kinds of different spiritual ways to try to stop the work that we're doing in God's name. So I would covet anybody's prayers that if you think about us, pray for our protection.
Well, thank you for your service again, and thanks for joining us today on our podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Huge thank you to Rob O'Connell for joining us today. If you'd like to learn more about the Erie City Mission or get involved, please visit our website at eriecitymission.org. Tune in next time, and remember, this is our city, our mission.